Hey everyone, it's Sergey here, and last night I just saw Godzilla King of the Monsters. Because I went to an early screening, basically the Thursday premiere, it comes out today. So I thought I'd make a little video real quick about telling you what my thoughts were. Now there are going to be spoilers in this review, but I'll say them to the very end, and trust me, I'm going to have spoiler alerts plastered all over the place telling you, alright, I'm about to reveal spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, once you get to that section, real quick, just click out of the video because they're going to be spoilers. But this first part is not going to be spoilers. Here's my review of Godzilla King of the Monsters, or as I like to call it, Godzilla Infinity War. Now, like I said, I call this Godzilla Infinity War because, without revealing too much, that's basically what this movie is. It's pretty much Infinity War, but with monsters. There's Millie Bobby Brown's character, and Millie Bobby Brown, Vera Farmiga, and Kyle Chandler, they're all a family, but Kyle Chandler is away. They've gotten divorced. They aren't clear about this, and that's a bit of a problem. It's not clarifying things in this movie. They've split because he started drinking after one of his sons was killed in the Godzilla attack. Emma, played by Vera Farmiga, is in a position where she is basically overwatching all the monsters, and she's actually at the Monarch outpost of Mothra. At the time that Mothra awakens out of her cocoon, not out of her cocoon, when she's born out of the egg, a bunch of eco-terrorists led by, I think, Alan or Alex Jonah, they come in, and this is where I say it starts to get like Infinity War. He comes in and tells them, alright, you have a weapon, it's called the Orca, and that will attract all the monsters to come to me, and I can use them because I have a plot to destroy a bunch of humanity for the quote-unquote greater good. So this is where it starts to get like Infinity War. That's basically the whole plot device of this movie, is this one machine called the Orca. It simulates the frequencies, the sounds of different monsters. And they've designed a way for it to they can use a certain frequency to calm them down, a certain frequency to get them angry, a certain frequency to get them all in one place. That's what they do. Is this eco-terrorist, Jonah, infiltrates Monarch, and he comes in and uses that for his plan to wipe out a whole bunch of the population like Thanos. So this is where Godzilla comes in to save the day and basically stops him. So that's basically the non-spoiler version of the plot. So I'm going to get into some of the things I like and dislike about this movie. There are a lot of convenient Godzilla saving the day out of nowhere moments. There are 3 or 4 moments where characters like Ghidorah or Rodan is about to kill one of the main characters, and then just Godzilla comes up out of absolutely nowhere and just distracts the monster. That happens a bit too conveniently and too often. One issue that I have with this movie is that it's not paced very well. The problem with the pacing that Godzilla 2014 had was that it had really bad second act blues, meaning that the first and third act, where there were interesting stuff going on, those were enjoyable. The second act, nothing really happened and it sort of dragged. This movie does not have that at all, but what it does have is it has a very bad problem with pacing. And not that it's too slow. I think this is actually a movie where you could probably do with adding about 30 more minutes. You should probably pace a little too fast. One thing that's been very heavily publicized about this movie is the music, and that Bear McCreary actually uses original Toho Akira Ifukube music in the film. It's done very well because it was never distracting. In fact, there were many moments when I heard it, the first time I heard Mothra's theme, I didn't even know that it was Mothra's theme because it was so well blended in. It doesn't stand out, it's not distracting. I think it's done very, very well. Especially at the end credits, where the end credits is actually newspaper footage, newspaper stock footage and everything of Godzilla and the aftermath of the events in this movie, and it's actually got the Blue Oyster Cult Godzilla song in it. And I can promise you that if you look on my phone, that song is downloaded from iTunes. Godzilla's theme is used very, very well in this movie. It's used at the right moments. They don't overuse it. One thing that's sort of hit or miss in this movie is the special effects, and that's really unfortunate because this is a movie where you would want, because let's not beat around the bush, it's a special effects movie. The main monsters, the main idea of this movie is monsters, and those monsters are CGI. Godzilla, throughout the movie, animated CGI is awesome. Rodan, throughout the movie, CGI is awesome. Mothra, when she's in her flying form, she looks really good, but when she's in her larva form in the very beginning, it's a bit hit or miss. Ghidorah, throughout the whole movie, looks really bad. Ghidorah doesn't look good. He looks like video game footage. And that was something I was really disappointed with in this movie, is because in all the trailers, all the special effects looked really good, like for Ghidorah as well. But in the movie, there are a lot of times where it was hit or miss. The best CGI in this movie is where it's very subdued, like in dark lighting. Like there's an entire scene, it's in the trailer, where Kyle Chandler and the rest of Monica are looking out the window down in the ocean at Godzilla. That whole scene is beautiful, it's seamless, the animation and the CGI is perfect. Like any other time that like Godzilla is like by himself, or any time that like any monster is like subdued in shadow, or in very, like when Mothra comes out of the water, like you see in the trailer, those are awesome shots. They're done perfectly. I don't have any complaints with that, but Ghidorah's reveal, it doesn't look good at all. It's not good. In fact, I was seeing that, I'm like, I hope that it gets better in the next shot, and it never got better in the next shot. So the special effects as a whole are really hit or miss. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the acting in this movie. And the thing is, there are a lot of characters who aren't really fully developed, meaning there are probably too many characters. Like there's the main monarch military type leader. She isn't very well developed. David Strathairn reprises his role in this movie. He doesn't really get much to do. Sally Hawkins, that's another thing. She gets even less to do in this movie than in the first movie. She really doesn't get anything to do at all except be like, hey guys, I'm here, and I was in the last movie, in case you forgot. Serizawa has a much bigger role in this movie. I enjoyed that a lot. Serizawa is one of the much better characters, and he's acted and portrayed very well. So I gotta give that to Ken Watanabe. There's a character in this movie, it's a totally useless character. He's there for comic relief only. He doesn't do anything of importance except provide comic relief. And even at that, he's not that funny in the movie. I mean, the only time that I laughed was after something big happens. His character comes in, and he's walking through a door, and he has a flask, and he's like, whatever happened was so big that he just starts drinking out of a flask. I thought that was very funny. There are too many characters, I'd say. One thing that I thought going into this movie was the case was that I thought the Charles Dance character was actually the character from Kong Skull Island. And I thought that going into the movie, he's not. Just want to clarify that right out of the gate, he's not that character. He's a completely different character. Another thing that I like to commend is Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown is probably the best actor or actress in this entire movie. For that, I gotta give her a hand for that, because she acts very, very well for that. I've never seen Stranger Things or anything else that she's been in, so this is the only thing that I've seen her acting in, and it's very good. So I guess that's a actress that has a lot of talent, and she's well cast in this movie. Kyle Chandler, he's pretty good. He's one of the more developed characters. Vera Farmiga, she's good as well. Vera Farmiga is sort of known for playing the well-intentioned psycho in movies and TV, and she plays that in here as well, because she's on the side of Charles Dance, the eco-terrorist. And that's established very on in the movie. Again, not a spoiler. Now, speaking of spoilers, I'm about to get into the spoilers right here. So there are quite a few spoilers in this movie. David Strathairn's character, I told you that he only has one thing to say, and here's what he says. He reveals that the military has been working on an oxygen destroyer. So they deploy the oxygen destroyer, and it doesn't kill Ghidorah, but it kills Godzilla. Or at least weakens him to the point of, like, pretty much being dead. His heartbeat stops, basically. And so Serizawa goes, and they realize that the only way they can revive Godzilla is by taking a nuclear bomb down to where Godzilla is and detonating it. And that's what they do. Serizawa goes and sacrifices himself and sets the bomb off because it can only be done manually underwater. And so he sets off the bomb, he dies, and then Godzilla comes back up with, as they call it, it's like Godzilla was juiced up on a nuke. He comes up as burning Godzilla, and that's actually how he kills King Ghidorah in the very end of the movie. He's so powerful with the burning form that he literally just touches King Ghidorah. Like, I think he grabs King Ghidorah by the hand around one of his necks, and he just disintegrates into fire. So the only other spoiler that I have in this movie, actually I have two more. One, Sally Hawkins' character dies. There is an after-credits scene in this movie. And I was anticipating that the after-credits scene would be something with Kong, because the next movie is obviously going to be Godzilla vs. Kong, but it's not that. It's actually that Charles... I'll tell you what the after-credits scene is. If you stay after the credits, what you're going to see is that head that was bitten off that first time is like on the black market, and Charles Dance, his character, and all his eco-terrorist guys, they come in and they're like, we have this thing that you'll like, and it's gone up in price ever since the Titans were on cohabitation with the humans. And so they reveal that it's like Ghidorah's head, and Charles Dance says, we'll take it. And that's the after-credits scene. And I don't know what the purpose of that scene was, because that leads me to believe that they're going to like do something with Ghidorah in the second movie. But I hope they don't, because I really want Godzilla and Kong to be the only monsters in the second movie. That was basically my review of Godzilla King of the Monsters. The only problem that I had with this movie is the visual effects are very hit or miss, and that the pacing is really fast, and that it could do with having some slower pacing in the movie. It's probably a better film. I enjoyed it more than 2014, because I watched 2014 in preparation for this movie, as well as Kong Skull Island. And I definitely enjoyed it better than 2014. I did not enjoy it better than Kong Skull Island. So, overall, probably a 6.5, 7 out of 10. I decided that it would probably be a good idea, just in case you guys were curious, to leave you with a little treat at the end of this video. And that right now I'm working on the Godzilla vs. Biollante EOST reconstruction. So I have a little time lapse of me color correcting the footage and doing some work on it. So I'll include that here. Other than that, that's my review of King of the Monsters, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.